Learning English can be challenging, but it is also very rewarding. One of the best ways to improve your English skills is to read and listen to English stories. This is especially true if you are learning American English. There are many resources available online where you can find English short stories with an American accent. These resources are a great way to improve your listening comprehension and pronunciation. They can also help you to learn new vocabulary and grammar structures. This article will introduce you to some of the best resources for finding English short stories with an American accent online. It will also provide you with some tips for using these resources to improve your English skills. Where to find English short stories with an American accent online. There are many different websites and apps where you can find English short stories with an American accent. Here are a few of the most popular options. YouTube. YouTube is a great resource for finding English short stories with an American accent. There are many channels that create videos of native English speakers reading stories. You can search for English short stories with American accent to find a variety of videos to choose from. Learn English with Stories. Learn English with Stories is a website that provides English short stories for all levels of learners. The website also has a section for short stories with an American accent. The stories are read by native English speakers, and they include subtitles, so you can easily follow along. English Central. English Central is a website that provides English learning resources, including short stories with an American accent. The website also has interactive exercises that help you to practice your listening comprehension and pronunciation. British Council Learn English. British Council Learn English is a website that provides English learning resources for all levels of learners. The website has a section for short stories with an American accent. The stories are read by native English speakers, and they include transcripts, so you can easily follow along. How to use English short stories with an American accent to improve your English skills. Here are a few tips for using English short stories with an American accent to improve your English skills. Listen to the stories multiple times. The more you listen to the stories, the better you will understand them. You can also try to listen to the stories while reading the transcript. This will help you to match the words with the sounds. Pay attention to the pronunciation of the speaker. Try to identify the different sounds that the speaker is making. You can also try to imitate the speaker's pronunciation. Look up new vocabulary words. If you come across a word that you do not know, look it up in a dictionary. This will help you to learn the meaning of the word and how to pronounce it correctly. Retell the stories in your own words. This is a great way to practice your speaking skills. You can also try to write the stories down in your own words. This will help you to practice your writing skills. Here are some examples of English short stories with an American accent that you can find online. The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, there was a duck who laid a clutch of eggs. One of the eggs was larger than the others, and when it hatched, a strange-looking duckling emerged. He was bigger and clumsier than his siblings, and his feathers were a dull gray color. The other ducklings and their mother made fun of the ugly duckling. They called him names and pushed him around. The ugly duckling was very sad and lonely. He tried to fit in, but he just couldn't. One day, the ugly duckling was so sad that he ran away from home. He wandered through the woods for many days and nights. He was cold and hungry, and he was still very lonely. One day, the ugly duckling came to a lake. He saw a group of beautiful white swans swimming in the water. The ugly duckling had never seen anything so beautiful before. He wished that he could be like them. The ugly duckling swam into the lake and looked at his reflection in the water. He was surprised to see that he had transformed into a beautiful white swan himself. The other swans welcomed him into their flock, and the ugly duckling was finally happy. Moral of the story: don't give up on yourself, even if you feel different from others. Everyone is special in their own way. The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. One day, they decided to leave their mother and build their own houses. The first little pig was lazy. He built a house of straw. The second little pig was also lazy. He built a house of sticks. The third little pig was wise. He built a house of bricks. One day, a big, bad wolf came to the forest. He saw the first little pig's house of straw and said, little pig, let me in." The little pig said, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." The wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. The little pig ran away, but the wolf caught him and ate him. The wolf then went to the second little pig's house of sticks and said, little pig, let me in." The little pig said, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." The wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. The little pig ran away, but the wolf caught him and ate him. The wolf then went to the third little pig's house of bricks and said, little pig, let me in." The little pig said, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." The wolf huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed, but he couldn't blow the house down. The wolf then tried to climb down the chimney, but the little pig had a pot of boiling water waiting for him. The wolf yelped in pain and ran away. The little pig was safe and sound in his house of bricks. Moral of the story: it's important to work hard and build a strong foundation for your future. The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, there was a tortoise and a hare who were very proud of their speed. One day, they decided to have a race. The hare was confident that he would win, so he took a nap in the middle of the race. The tortoise kept going and eventually crossed the finish line first. Moral of the story: slow and steady wins the race. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Once upon a time, there was a shepherd boy who was bored. To amuse himself, he started shouting, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! There's a wolf!" The villagers came running to help, but there was no wolf. The shepherd boy laughed at them. The next day, the shepherd boy did the same thing. He shouted, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! There's a wolf!" The villagers came running to help again, but there was still no wolf. The shepherd boy laughed at them again. One day, there really was a wolf attacking the shepherd boy's flock of sheep. He shouted, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! There's a wolf!" But the villagers thought he was lying again, so they didn't come to help. The wolf attacked and killed all of the sheep. Moral of the story: if you lie too often, people will stop believing you, even when you're telling the truth. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. A little girl named Goldilocks wanders into the house of three bears, and eats their food, sits in their chairs, and sleeps in their beds. The bears come home and find Goldilocks, who runs away. Moral of the story: it's not okay to take things that don't belong to you. The Little Red Hen. A little red hen asks her friends, the pig, the cat, and the duck, to help her plant and harvest wheat. They all refuse, but the little red hen does the work herself. When the wheat is ready, she asks her friends to help her bake bread. They all agree, but the little red hen tells them that they can't eat the bread because they didn't help make it. Moral of the story: if you want something done, do it yourself. The Gingerbread Man. An old woman bakes a gingerbread man who comes to life and runs away. The gingerbread man taunts the people he meets on his way, but he is eventually eaten by a fox. Moral of the story: don't be too proud or overconfident. The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Three billy goats need to cross a bridge to get to the lush green meadows on the other side. But a troll lives under the bridge and demands a toll from anyone who wants to cross. The first two billy goats are scared of the troll, but the third billy goat is brave and outsmarts the troll. Moral of the story: don't be afraid to stand up to bullies. Chicken Little. An acorn falls on Chicken Little's head and she thinks the sky is falling. She runs around telling everyone the bad news. The animals all panic and run away, but they soon realize that the sky is not really falling and they return home. Moral of the story: don't spread rumors or panic without knowing the facts. The Bremen Town Musicians. A donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster leave their homes to pursue their dreams of becoming musicians in Bremen. On the way, they encounter a group of robbers and scare them away by making loud noises. The animals then decide to stay in the robber's house and live happily ever after. Moral of the story: it's never too late to follow your dreams. The Pied Piper of Hamelin. The town of Hamelin is overrun by rats. The mayor promises a reward to anyone who can get rid of the rats. A piper comes to town and plays his pipe. The rats follow him out of town and drown in the river. But the mayor refuses to pay the piper, so the piper plays his pipe again and all of the children of Hamelin follow him away. Moral of the story: if you promise someone something, keep your promise. Puss in Boots. A miller dies and leaves his youngest son a cat. The cat is very clever and he helps his master to become a wealthy and powerful man. Moral of the story: even if you don't have much money or possessions, you can still be successful if you are clever and hardworking. I hope this is a helpful summary of these classic fairy tales. Conclusion: English short stories with an American accent are a great way to improve your English skills. There are many different resources available online where you can find these stories. By following the tips in this article, you can use English short stories with an American accent to improve your listening comprehension, pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. Additional tips: find stories that you are interested in. This will make you more likely to stick with them. Start with stories that are at your level. As you improve your English skills, you can challenge yourself with more difficult stories. Don't be afraid to re-listen to or reread stories. This is the best way to learn and remember.